Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar on how to set up a drone program for successful infrastructure construction project monitoring. My name is Tammy Bronfin and I'm the marketing director at Datumate. It's really great for us to be here with you today. We appreciate you taking the time to join us. And I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome my colleagues who will be presenting the webinar today. You guys go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. My name is Tom Jennings, Senior Solutions Engineer here at Datumate. I've been flying drones for the last 12 years. My background's in computer science and physics. I'm a private pilot, and I'm really passionate about the industry. Spent 2 years flying drones on the Apple Cupertino campus and working with the BIM and resident engineer teams to leverage the data, and I'm excited to share all my experiences with you.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, everyone. My name is Kobe Shaiken. I am the Customer Success Manager for the North American region. And I don't have as much drone experience as Tom. I just fly them a little bit leisurely. And I'm really excited to be here and talk to everyone.
Thanks. Thanks, Kobe. Thanks, Tom. So in today's webinar, we're going to be discussing how you can set up a successful drone program for heavy civil and infrastructure projects. The discussion will include a really short overview of challenges, industry challenges that are involved, setting up a successful drone program, what that involves in steps, how to ensure drone data accuracy, which is a really, really critical part of the program. Why drone data does not work alone in a silo, use cases and applications of drone mapping and analysis. Please feel free to write your questions in the Q&A section throughout the webinar. We'll leave about 10 to 15 minutes at the end to answer them. So if any questions come up during the webinar, again, just add them and we'll address them at the end. Kobe, I think we can get started. Over to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tammy. So let me just move on to the next slide here. We'll talk a little bit about the unique industry challenges. The heavy civil and infrastructure industry has unique challenges that include projects that are typically dynamic and multifaceted, with multiple stakeholders involved and external forces that cannot always be controlled. They also usually spread over large areas. In most cases, manual processes are still used, which leads to information silos and a lack of accurate and easily available site data and project visibility. There is a major shortage of professional workers that does not correlate with the ever-increasing demand for infrastructure. Drones and drones data will not replace surveyors. They will complement the work surveyors are doing so they can keep up with the ever-increasing workload. Inefficient stakeholder collaboration and a lack of single source of truth often leads to schedule disruption, disputes, downtime, and costly rework. Over to you, Tom.
Thanks, Kobe. Yeah, all of these challenges are solvable. As drones and other unmanned aircraft systems gain popularity, become increasingly available. Now more than ever, technology is needed to speed up processes that were traditionally done manually, bridge the gap between on-site and off-site teams, prevent mistakes and miscommunications, and generally help projects run smarter. The rapid expansion of drones in the heavy civil space is due to significant technological advancements that have made drones more affordable and easy to operate. As the drone technology market matures, we're seeing a wider range of options becoming available, from basic models for simple photography and videography tasks to more advanced drones equipped with sophisticated LiDAR sensors capable of collecting precise data. Regulatory bodies around the world are becoming more familiar with drone technology and its application in construction. As a result, we're seeing clearer guidelines and regulations for drone usage, which helps reduce uncertainty and make planning easier. The impact of this rising availability is significant. Drones are enhancing efficiency in numerous ways, They are speeding up site surveys, improving safety by reducing the need for manual inspections in potentially dangerous areas, and providing high-quality data that helps us make better decisions and minimize errors. It's really an exciting time in the world of heavy civil construction. As we continue to embrace drone technology, we're able to work smarter, safer, and more efficiently. The rising availability of drones is not just a trend, it's an opportunity for us all to innovate and excel in our projects. But remember, while drones are a powerful tool, they are most effective when integrated into a comprehensive digital strategy, along with other technologies like BIM, GIS, and data analytics. So the key to developing a successful drone program is to identify the challenges. It's going to be funding, management, buy-in, regulations, integration, and internal adoption. So let's talk about funding. One of the initial challenges for drone operations is securing adequate funding. The cost involves hardware, software, training, maintenance, and potential compliance-related expenses. Therefore, comprehensive financial planning is crucial to ensure the project's success and its return on investment. So gaining approval from management is going to be critical. The benefits of drone technology should be clearly communicated to demonstrate the potential ROI, including cost savings, efficiency improvements, and enhanced safety. Providing case studies from similar companies or pilot projects can also be effective. Compliance with regulations for drone operations is not challenging anymore. The regulatory landscape is controlled by the FAA, and they have black and white regulations in place. Of course, it's crucial to fully understand and adhere to these rules to avoid legal issues and maintain the project timeline. Incorporating drone operations into existing workflows can be a hurdle. To ensure smooth integration, a careful assessment of current processes should be conducted and modifications should be made as needed. It's also beneficial to involve all relevant stakeholders in this process. The lack of skilled drone operators and analysts can pose a problem. This can be mitigated by investing in training for current employees, hiring new staff with drone expertise, or partnering with drone service providers. We have found that survey is a natural department to assign the drone program. So finally, let's talk about internal adoption. Change can be met with resistance. Promoting the benefits of drones, providing adequate training, and fostering a culture of innovation can help improve acceptance and usage among the team. I know these challenges might seem daunting, but overcoming them is immensely rewarding. With careful planning, communication, and a commitment to innovation, the benefits of drone technology could be harnessed to improve outcomes in heavy civil construction and infrastructure projects. Now we're going to jump in to how we're going to set up a drone program. So first, you're going to want to identify your main goals and the critical questions that need to be answered. How does your organization stand to benefit from enhanced data collection? How much will drones cost, and how will they cut costs compared to your current data collection methods? What levels of accuracy do you require to make an impact? And finally, what key applications do you want to start with? So improving job site efficiency is an easy sell to management. Drone hardware and software packages can be obtained for a few $1,000s, and the return on investment will be seen as little as 3 drone flights. Once approved by management, you want to decide on a pilot project where drone data collection and mapping will have the most impact. Earthworks is an obvious choice. Moving earth is costly, and monitoring these projects with drones is an excellent choice. Now, as I mentioned earlier, FAA regulations on commercial drone use are very black and white. All of that's going to be included in your pilot training. There are three main components of stakeholders for your drone program. At Datumate, we emphasize capture, collaborate, and consume. Your flight team will capture the data and process it. Engineering staff is going to collaborate on the data and issue reports that can be consumed across the enterprise. For small business owners, your surveyor can cover all three of these efforts. And we're going to take a look at that later in this presentation. For engineering staff, the most important deliverables from the drone program will be surface models. Datumate delivers digital terrain models, digital surface models, contour maps, and point clouds in the coordinate reference system defined for your job site. You'll be able to seamlessly import the files into AgTech, Civil 3D, or MicroStation. But the vision behind Datumate is that you'll be able to perform the vast majority of these volume calculations directly inside of our platform. It's very easy to use, and we are able to quickly train people to get the most out of the system. Finally, the most important part is really choosing the right drone for your project. I love DJI. They're the current market leader in the UAS space. DJI offers an excellent selection of drones that can provide the optics, GPS, and flight characteristics necessary to capture data reliably and repeatably. The DJI 3 Enterprise can be purchased for as little as $4,000. It's an excellent choice for any drone fleet. One consideration with the DJI product line is that they are not approved by the federal government's Blue UAS list. I don't really think that's an issue for most of the people in this heavy civil space, but there are a number of drones that are on the Blue UAS list. My recommendation would be the Wingtra or the SenseFly EV TAC. So there are regional regulations on who can perform surveys. These rules typically only apply to maps requiring stamps from a professional land surveyor. The good news is in the United States, drones are regulated by the federal government, so there are no regular regulations for flying drones commercially. Obtaining your Part 107 certificate involves taking a test at a local testing facility. There are excellent paid courses available online to help you prepare for the test. The FAA also has an online training course that's free. After the test, you go to a local FAA field office, present your identification to complete the Part 107 certificate. Then you just renew the certificate every 2 years. All of this is streamlined and very easy to implement. So let's talk about budget considerations. Entry-level drones for aerial mapping start at around $2,000 for the DJI Phantom 4. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge fan of the DJI Mavic Enterprise, coming in at around $4,000. The Mavic 3E has awesome flight characteristics and excellent optics. To process your drone data, the next requirement is photogrammetric software to process all of this data. Datumate has the lowest cost for entry for any cloud-based photogrammetry platform. Our packages start at around $3,000. So the most expensive part of any drone program is the personnel to fly and manage the data. We don't sell the drone hardware, but I have trained hundreds of teams to leverage the drone data. As I talked about earlier, the concept we're going with is capture, collaborate, and consume. Another old saying comes to mind here, though, and that's garbage in, garbage out. The capture portion of your program has to be run well to get the value and accuracy your company will need from the data. We encourage you to reach out to engineering new hires or any of your team with technical experience in survey. Measuring and marking ground control points will be an integral part of your drone program. There are multiple drones on the market, and not all of them are created equal. Choosing the right solution for your project is key to getting it off the ground. First parameter to take into account is the type of drone you want to use. There are three main types of drones: multi-rotor, fixed wing, and VTOL. So a multi-rotor or quadcopter has 4 propellers and are hands down the easiest drones to fly. This is the most common drone on the market, and advances in battery technology have improved flight times of these units to make them an excellent choice for construction sites. These drones are more useful for infrastructure mapping and property assessments, which makes their use in aerial imaging and mapping applications really a no-brainer. Fixed wing drones, they're really the best for really large areas that you need to cover. Something that's just starting to come out into the market is VTOLs, vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. They take off like a quadcopter and then fly like a fixed wing during the missions. So one of the most important components of aerial mapping is mission planning. Some drones are not capable of autonomous flight on GPS coordinates and should not be considered for aerial mapping. The DJI Mavic Pro, for instance, does not have an SDK module that would be required for autonomous flight. Once again, the DJI Mavic 3 Enterprise is one of the best choices, has great optics, great flight times, and excellent flight characteristics. Let's go on to the next slide, Kobe. So drone data is only as valuable as the accuracy of the data. We want our design files and subsequent 3D models to line up perfectly so that we can reliably compare these surfaces. To obtain the best quality data, we need to take into consideration the flight characteristics once again. All of these specifications will be controlled from within the mission planning application your pilots are using. The overlap of the images will be set to 80-70, and the elevation of the drone should be set to 200 feet. The elevation of the drone in combination with the optics of the camera will define what we call ground sampling distance. The ground sampling distance is a measurement of the area of a pixel in the digital photo and directly affects the accuracy of the data. Before any of your pilots take off, they will go through a checklist to ensure all systems are flight ready. The next really important consideration for photogrammetry is ground control points. Ground control points are a critical component and can be thought of as a ground truth that are used to manipulate the 3D model during the photogrammetric process. GCPs will be marked and measured by someone trained to use survey equipment. It's a very easy process, but can be confusing. Here's a couple of pro tips. Mark the GCPs in an area that will not be damaged during the construction so that they can be reused in subsequent flights. Distribute the control points evenly spaced across the job site so they can be clearly identified from the air. RTK versus PPK. So let's start by understanding the basics of RTK and PPK. RTK stands for real-time kinematics and is a technique that provides real-time positioning corrections to the drone during the flight. It requires a connection to a base station or network that provides GNSS corrections. On the other hand, PPK, or post-processing kinematics, is a technique that processes the GNSS data after the flight. It also requires a connection to a base station, but the corrections are applied post-processing, which can offer some advantages in terms of data consistency and reliability. The surveyors on the site will be utilizing the same RTK stream to correct for rovers in the field, we recommend using the same network so all of your equipment on site is working together. So a continuously operating reference system or station or cores is a network of GNSS base stations that provide high precision GNSS corrections. In the United States, several CORS networks are available, including the National Geodetic Survey's CORS network and various state-operated networks. Some of these networks offer free access to RTK corrections, while others require a subscription. One popular subscription-based network is the SmartNet, which provides high-quality GNSS corrections over NTRIP. To connect your DJI drone to a CORS network, you'll need to configure the drone's RTK settings in the app. It's going to be done through either the DJI Pilot or perhaps the GS Pro. You'll need to input the NTRIP server information, including the address, port, mount point, username, and password. All of this is very easy to do once you are properly trained, and we can help your teams quickly get up to speed. So let's go back to you, Kobe.
All right, thank you, Tom. So we captured the data now, and now what do we do with it? Well, the drone data does not work alone. The value of the DataBin platform is that your data will not be siloed on a single desktop. Everyone in your enterprise will be able to log into our cloud-based solution to make measurements, analytics, and identify deviation from design files. Once we have the raw drone data processed in the cloud, engineers need a software package that can handle large files, but is easy to use. The data is a really important part of the drone program. Tom now will talk about some use cases of how the data can be leveraged to successfully monitor and track infrastructure projects. Back to you, Tom.
Thanks, Kobe. Yeah, so ATS is a general contractor that is based in Kentucky and has been working with DataBin since 2020. Their drone program is comprised of a surveyor who is also the drone pilot, and then a project manager. The surveyor will capture the raw data and process it in DataBin. Next, the project manager will analyze and distribute the data internally. This is a perfect example of that capture, collaborate, and consume method. So next, let's look at a specific example of how ATS has used drone data in mapping to save thousands of dollars in a single event using DataBin. In this road expansion project that included several subcontractors and many construction teams, ATS accidentally covered a water valve in the road. So in this picture, you can see the area where the water valve was located on the surface of a paving project, but was inadvertently covered. These types of errors and rework can really be negatively effective on the bottom line of your construction project. Let's go to the next slide, Kobe. So the conventional way to solve this problem would be to call the water company and have a locator provide an area to excavate. Now, keep in mind, the locator is going to not have very accurate information to work with, and he's going to uncover a large area. Next step is the repair will bring in workers. They're going to hand dig to locate the valve, create a cover, and finally the asphalt crews are going to come in and fix the pavement. So let's take a look at how much this could all cost us. First, we're going to have the repair crew come in at $400 an hour, working for up to 6 hours. You got to get the project manager involved. he's going to spend up to 5 hours. And finally, your paving crew at $1,600 an hour is going to come in, and expenses here could be well over $7,500. This gives us a clear picture of why rework is so expensive. So let's take a look at how we can fix this with Datumate. So the foreman on the project notifies the project manager, who is able to log into Datumate from the office, or we could even have the foreman log in directly from the field using a tablet. They're going to be able to identify that water valve from a previous flight and pull up exact coordinates on its location. Next, the PM is going to notify the team of the precise coordinates of the water valve so that the crew is able to dig in a very exact spot. So using Datumate, we're able to eliminate the call to the water company, and the project manager is able to identify the coordinates of the water valve in minutes. By reducing the time spent on the rework, Datumate is able to save ATS significant amount of money and improve their bottom line. Back to you, Kobe.
Thank you, Tom. Turner Land Survey is a professional land surveyor specializing in stream environmental restoration. David Turner is the chief surveyor for the company and also the primary pilot. At Turner Land Survey, the pilot also completes all of the processing and analytics. We wanted to share comments from David Turner, Vice President of Operations.
David, is it fair to say that Datumate has become an essential tool for land surveyors, enhancing the efficiency and accuracy of your work?
In my opinion, yes. What it's done for us has allowed us to be able to actually collect data much more efficiently and over a larger area that up until the point of using photogrammetry and LiDAR technology and the ease of processing using Datumate was a little bit daunting. Some sites that we would do might be so large or cover such an area that it's not cost effective to the client to actually collect data that they really need. They don't really know what they need until we actually get in there and start telling them. But once they realize what they got, sometimes it's, well, that's going to be too much for my budget. So this allows us to give them something that's actually very cost effective. We recently had a site where the contractor was being paid by volume on what they had to move and a brownfield cleanup. And the only way to actually do that effectively was to actually fly the site, because having to collect data points each time and give something that would be comparable on 4 different site visits was not going to be actually cost effective for them. So what we did is we went out and we flew the site first to give them a baseline. Then after 1 month of moving material, we came out and flew it again. Then we did another month. They did it again, and then after the 3rd month, we went out and flew it the last time. And with Datumate, its ability to actually use volumetric measurements analysis from the do, it was able, without having to do anything other than actually tell the program to compare those 3 different flights, give my client the volume that they were looking for in order to actually submit their pay requests. They really loved that, and I have to say that it made that site go a lot easier for us, and helped to make my client happy. So, is it good for us? Is it something that's essential? I would say definitely yes. The speed with which you can actually process your field data, and actually the quality and the amount of different analysis that you can actually get from it. I haven't found anything that actually compares to it.
Tom, back to you.
Awesome. And I will mention, I just spoke with David Turner last week, and he's really excited to share that he's sold his company to a much larger environmental service in North Carolina, and he's going to be taking Datumate to that new company and expanding their drone program significantly. He thinks it'll probably have 3 to 4 pilots spread out across North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So really exciting to see people expand upon their drone programs. So let's see, the next thing I wanted to share some information about WRS. It's a company with a rich history of successful projects in civil construction, inspection, and mapping. Dallas is the UAS manager there. He has over 500 flight hours and a background in heavy civil construction and GIS. The WRS, their drone program is that they employ a full-time pilot who does have a background in survey. He's able to mark and measure ground control points. And after processing, the data is passed on to technicians who are responsible for inspecting, in this case, containment berms surrounding oil tanks at the Cherry Creek refinery in outside of Seattle, Washington. In this case, WRS is actually walking the job site in real time with an iPad in hand. The technicians are inspecting the berms which surround the oil tanks to protect against spills. WRS technicians are able to identify berms that are in need of repair, and then using Datumate to estimate the cost of repairs in real time. The inspection can be conducted by a single field technician with all of the measurements required for the estimates completed in minutes. Datumate has been a real game changer for the company. It's allowed them to provide accurate measurements, keep their teams safe, and streamline processes. They've been able to effectively manage their projects, better communicate with owners, and expand their services to new industry. Datumate has truly transformed the way they are able to work.
Wonderful. Aaron Dort worked at a large company in Oregon with an established drone program using Datumate platform. Aaron was brought over to Always to help set up the drone program and chose to continue working with Datumate. At Always, Aaron is the grade control manager and also serves as the pilot and data analyst. Always Excavating is using Datumate to perform mass haul analysis on site to avoid costly hauling fees. I am going to read directly from our client, Aaron Dort. We had already started work on this project before we introduced the platform, said Dort. There's a specific area of the site where the biggest fill for the project was needed. We wanted to track the progress of that fill because we had to make a decision about whether we could complete the site work with material we had on site or needed to bring in extra material for this. The first time I went out to check progress on the site, I had to do a topo on foot, and it took me about half a day to do that. Just that one small part of the site. After that, we started using the drone and the Datumate platform. All I needed was 20 minutes to fly it, and I didn't just get the information about that small part of the site. I got the information for the entire site. Aaron found the Datumate platform was a huge time saver, and he was able to collaborate effortlessly with his teams in the field. And
Fantastic. So I think we're ready for Q&A. Those are really interesting use cases. It's always amazing to hear from customers and understand how they're using our platform for really unique and interesting use cases. It's always an eye-opener for us as well. So if you haven't had a chance to ask questions yet, please feel free to add them in the Q&A. We have a few already, so we'll start addressing them and then we can just go through them as they come up. So the first question we have, and Kobe and Tom, you guys decide, just let me know who wants to take what. What type of drones do you think are best for heavy civil? I think we covered this like briefly earlier in the webinar, but I don't know, Tom, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've flown all different types of drones, and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Fixed wing drones, they can be very difficult to land around these infrastructure construction projects. They take quite a bit of space to get back on the ground, and you know, depending on how they're configured, it can be easy to damage them. Actually, I love like the EB that stalls right before it lands, and that's pretty effective, but still difficult to operate in tight spaces. You know, VTOLs, these vertical takeoff and landing drones that are coming out on the market, they're awesome machines, but they're very large. And the downside is they can be really time consuming to set up. Not only that, but you know, traveling with a VTOL, the large cases, there's a lot going on there. Definitely an advanced system. For all those reasons, I really like the ease and simplicity of the quadcopters. They pack down easy, they're easy to carry, they set up quickly, and you know, especially when you're working on a construction project, you just want to make things as convenient as possible. So I really like the quadcopters, and that would be my #1 recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. Another one that came up here, and again, you guys decide who wants to take this one. What kind of training is available with Datumate? I think this is a really important one, because as part of, you know, setting up a drone program, I think this could be kind of crucial to making it work, or internal adoption. So Tom, Kobe, who wants to take this one?
I'll
Yeah.
jump on that.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, we have, it's a multi-phase training program at Datumate. So we're definitely focused on the success of our clients, and that's why we hired Kobe. He's our customer success manager for North America. You know, in addition to that, we have a complete online training. So what we like to do is have our clients start with that. They can start to understand all the components, and then from there, we're going to do one-on-one training either with Kobe or myself. You know, as I said, it's customer success and making sure that our customers are able to leverage all of the benefits of Datumate is our #1 priority, and we really do offer a white glove service. Your teams are going to have direct access to me via phone, but we also have 24-hour support. I don't know, Kobe, is there anything I missed there?
No, you covered it all, and I just, you know, really want to add that Tom, I think himself is really our greatest asset when it comes to drone training. The amount of hours that he has accumulated has really turned him into an asset to have, and really to bounce off of him any kind of questions or any kind of issues that you have regarding training. Tammy, I saw that there's a question in the Q&A.
Yeah, there's an additional question here. Are you also working in Germany? Is your service relevant to residential construction?
I'll take that as well. Yeah, we do have a number of clients currently in Germany. We're working with a large rail company who's definitely getting a lot of value out of the Datumate platform. It's really interesting that we're able to let people collaborate across huge areas. So we even have people who are using Datumate to inspect and manage projects from different continents, which is a really interesting capability. As far as residential projects are concerned, we do have quite a few clients who are using, especially for earthworks. You know, earthworks is really the best use case for well, I'm not going to say the best, but it's one of the really excellent use cases for photogrammetry. We're able to quickly compare against design files to produce takeoff reports. So, these kind of takeoff reports can be used pre-construction to estimate and bid, or they can use during construction to cross-reference the invoices that are provided by subcontractors. So, you can use it pre-construction, during construction, and also post-construction.
I'm just going to jump in here and add as well. We actually just published yesterday a new case study on our website about how a project management company called CPM is using Datumate for the infrastructure development in a neighborhood called Sder Dov in Israel. It's one of the most sought after neighborhoods in Israel. It was once the location of an airport. There was a lot of press around it. So they're actually in agreement with the Tel Aviv municipality and the Israel Land Authority. And they're doing the project management for that using Datumate. So if you're interested, you're welcome to take a look at our website. On the case studies page, there's a new case study there, a really interesting case study. We do a lot, for residential construction, not necessarily for vertical construction, but more for the, as Tom said, the land development, infrastructure development, coordination between different utility companies. It really, really helps with that. And we have an additional question from the same person asking who should we contact to collaborate in Germany. I think it will probably be Uriel, right? So Uriel yeah.
You can contact us via the website or contact Tom or myself or Tammy, and we can put you in touch with the right person.
I can also reach out and send you the details. I can see who's asked the questions and I'll reach out and send the details.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Great. So moving on to the next question. What kind of design files do you support? Kobe, do you want to take this one?
Sure. We support 2D and 3D design files, as well as surface files such as DXF, DWG, DGN, and Land XML and IFC files.
I'll mention quickly that we are doing some really interesting work now with 3D design files that are delivered by the engineering team. So three-dimensional IFC files can be overlaid on the three-dimensional model. And what that allows us to see is where the piles go into the ground. We can control the opacity of the three-dimensional model. So when you're given this type of file from the engineering companies, it's really interesting to overlay them, and then you can visualize the whole job from start to finish because you're modeling the existing area and then overlaying the finished product. So I'm super excited about the 3D design files.
Fantastic. I think we have time for another two. So here's one. What type of drones do you support? Important, obviously, given the subject of the webinar. Tom, do you want to take that one as well, or Kobe?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we are drone agnostic, which means that you can use really any type of drone that is geotagging the images, is capable of autonomous flight so that you can properly capture the data. There's literally, I believe, hundreds of drones that meet those specifications on the market right now. Obviously, you want to focus on the drones that have proven themselves to be valuable. Some of the gotchas that people don't realize are that we really want to have a mechanical shutter inside of the camera so that we don't have to worry about the rolling shutter effect that's going to diminish the quality of the data. If the drone isn't capable of autonomous flight, obviously that's not going to work very well, because you're not going to get that very consistent overlap or elevation that's required to generate very accurate three-dimensional models. Last thing I'll say is I'm a big fan of RTK, and I recommend the RTK drones to help improve the accuracy of the images.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Last one. So, okay. I'm a general contractor who works with owners, asset owners. Is Datumate suitable for me as well? Kobe, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, of course. Sure. The short answer is yes. Datumate customers are mainly general contractors and project owners. General contractors can use Datumate to validate and inspect the work of their subcontractors, and also to share information about project progress and potential issues with the owners. We even have a few customers who give the owners viewing or editing access to the platform to increase project transparency and collaboration.
Fantastic. So basically, I'm just going to add to this one as well. It's suitable for stakeholders across the infrastructure construction project lifecycle, owners, general contractors, engineering and consulting firms, program managers, pretty much, again, like all stakeholders across the project lifecycle. And it's often used, for example, if it's used by a general contractor, then they can give read access, right, Tom, to owners. Really improves collaboration, communication, transparency. That's something we hear from a lot of our customers. Yeah, so that was just an addition to that as well.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head, Tammy. It's a unlimited amount of viewing licenses, so you can have literally everybody on your team access the data, which is incredibly valuable. So they're able to collaborate. So the last thing I wanted to leave everybody with is that we have helped hundreds of clients set up their drone programs. If anybody has any questions about how to get started, we're here to help consult with you, make recommendations based on the specifics of your job project. So you can give us a call. We'll help you determine the best drone, and things like where the ground control should go, how who's going to get the most out of the data, what use cases are going to be the best for your specific needs. And we've been doing this for a long time, and we really want to see our clients be successful. So we're looking for win-win situations here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to add to that we will send an email tomorrow with a recording of the full webinar and contact details for Kobe, for Tom, for myself, and for Uriel, who couldn't join the webinar today, but he's Director of Sales Engineering at Datumate. So you'll have the contact details for everyone, and please feel free to reach out to us with any questions you have. Thanks so much for joining us today. Thanks, Kobe. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.